Hey YouTube, what's going on? Today I'm going to do my full review for the Redmi Note 11 Pro 5G. Now I said I was going to wait a whole month before I give you my full review, and it's been a month. So I'm ready to do my full review on this device. Now I'm going to tell you right up from the get-go. If you can get this phone, if you're on Mint Mobile or T-Mobile, I believe those are the two that you can actually use this phone on, get this device. I'm telling you, this device is so awesome. This is the best budget device I've ever reviewed on my channel. Now, prior to this device, I would say the Blue G91 Pro. Definitely, because I mean, not only did that device had great build quality, had fast and charging speeds, had wireless charging, a headphone jack, expandable memory, great performance, decent cameras, great, just awesome battery life. So that phone was a beast. And then you got headphones, you got a screen protector, you got a microfiber cleaning cloth, you got a case. I mean, you got a lot of things with that phone. So it was definitely, that was to me the best budget phone that I ever reviewed prior to this one. But this phone is on a whole nother level. I'm sorry. I mean, for $279, seriously, from GameStop, this phone is a must-have for those of you that don't want to spend no more than $300 on a smartphone, but you want a decent smartphone. This is the one. I'm trying to tell you, it's awesome. All right, so let's get into this review. So it was released in October of 2021, so the end of last year. So it's only been out just maybe a couple of months, like 3 months. So it hasn't been out that long. And the current price, excuse me. Now, let me say this real quick. If you hear me clearing my throat or, coughing, I'm dealing with a cold. So please excuse me. I'm going to try to get through this with minimal coughing, minimal clearing my throat if that's possible. But if you hear it, please excuse me. I'm just fighting a cold. So bear with me, please. All right. Current price on GameStop is $279. And that's for 6 gigs of RAM and 128 gigs of internal storage. Now there is a, I believe an 8 gig of RAM, 8 gigs of RAM variant and 256 gigs of internal storage as well. But you're going to pay a little bit more. Now, the first thing, I'm going to get into all the things that I like about this device, and then I'll get into all the things that I don't like about the device. First thing I like about this device is the price. $279. Now, when it was first released, it was $299, but that price dropped pretty quickly to $279. Why? I don't know, but less money is always a good thing, and you're not losing anything as far as value. You're getting decent value. Now, in the box, you are getting a pre-installed screen protector already on it, and of course, you're getting a case, and you're getting a 67-watt super fast charging brick in the box. I'll say it again. You're getting a 67-watt super fast charging brick in the box, along with a pre-installed screen protector on the phone and a case, which is what I have on it right now, the case that came with it in the box. All right. So that's already a win-win already. Next thing I like about this phone is the design. Now, everybody not going to feel that way, but I mean, everybody has their own personal preferences. I like the design. You got a big camera, a module on the back, but it looks nice. It doesn't look, boring. And, it's minimal design language on here, but I mean, I do like the way it looks. You got your 4 cameras, you got your flash, you got all your buttons on the right side, which is always good for me because I'm right-handed, so I like it. You got your headphone jack up at the top. You got one of your speaker grills at the top along with an IR blaster, and you got, of course, a speaker down here with a microphone. So when it comes to the design, I like the design of the device. All right, let's talk about build quality. Now you're getting Gorilla Glass 5 on the front and the back. Now think about that, a budget phone with Gorilla Glass 5 on the front and back. So the build quality on this device is great. I mean, it has a frosted back. You're not going to get any fingerprints on this device if you choose to not use the case that comes with it. If you just want to rock it without a case, no fingerprints, and you get a frosted back. So the build quality on here feels really nice. And think about this. This phone is very much like squared off. So it's very comfortable to hold in the hand as well, with or without a case. Now, I just prefer cases because it just gives me an extra layer of grip, and it just makes the phone even more comfortable in my hand. That's just for me. And that's mostly with clear cases. And this one comes right in the box, so you don't necessarily have to go out and buy a case. So that's money you're saving. Next, let's talk about button placement. I already talked about that. You got your fingerprint sensor on the right, and it's a built, it's a power button as well. And then you got your volume rockers right above it. So button placement on here is excellent. I love it. For me, mostly because I'm right-handed. Now, for those of you that are left-handed, you're not going to like the placement, and I'm sorry about that, but, most phones, things are going to be on the right. So I'm sorry about that. I just talked about the side-mounted fingerprint sensor, so we'll talk about it again. It's very, very fast. As you can see, it's instant. As soon as you tap it, you right into the phone. I mean, look how fast the phone gets to the home page. I mean, just look at that. That's crazy. Look at that animation. That is a super fast fingerprint sensor. Now, I prefer my fingerprint sensor to be built into the display, but because this is so fast and it's so accurate, I don't mind it being on the side. Now, I'm just not a big fan of side-mounted fingerprint sensors, but I know there's some people out there that are, and it don't really bother you. I just prefer it on, having it on the front. I always did, even back in the day when all the fingerprint sensors were on the front, before they started moving them to the back. I always loved the placement of it on the front. But as you can see, it's super ridiculously fast. So you're going to love that fingerprint sensor, no doubt about it. Next, let's talk about face unlock. Now, face unlock on here is also super fast too. I got it set where it's raised to wake, so I'll show you that. And it's pretty accurate. Now, to keep in mind, I'm behind the camera, but you can see how fast it sees my face and opens up the phone, even without really seeing my face very clearly behind this camera, but you can see how fast that is. It's crazy. Now, if you're just hitting a button, it's even faster. So the face unlock and the fingerprint sensor, you'll absolutely love it. Both are super fast and super accurate. Next, one of my favorite parts to talk about when it comes to this phone is the dual stereo speakers that are tuned by JBL. These are by far the best speakers I've ever used on any smartphone. And I'm telling you, I have a lot of smartphones. I've had some that I've gotten rid of, given away. And I still got some now that are really, really good and that are, impressive. But the sound quality and the loudness, like these speakers on here will absolutely blow you away. I'm telling you. I just can't. Look, let me just tell you how good these really are. Now, I have the Mi 11 Ultra, and those speakers are tuned by Harman Kardon. These on here destroys those. Now, the sound quality may be a tiny bit better on that as far as overall sound quality, but just for loudness, these speakers kill the Mi 11 Ultra. I'm serious. They really do. I mean, these speakers sometimes are so loud, I have to turn them down when I'm listening to certain content. And I usually like everything super loud, super bright. That's just how I roll. But these speakers are ridiculous. Now, before I let you listen to them, let me show you something else. See, you got that speaker grill up at the top, and you got one here at the bottom. Now, why is that important? Because you're getting equal distribution of sound by both speakers. It's not like one is in the earpiece and one's at the bottom. No. So you're getting the same loudness from the bottom speaker that you're getting from the top. And that's independent of the earpiece. And I think all dual stereo speakers should be like that on phones, because what you want is a more immersive sound, more like a surround sound type of thing. You're going to get it on this because you're getting equal sound distribution from both speakers. Now, let me let you listen to a little bit of the speaker quality. I'm hoping that y'all had headphones on or something where you could really hear the sound quality and the loudness of these speakers. It's ridiculous. These speakers are absolutely awesome just from this alone. And you know how big this display is, and you're watching, video, like YouTube videos, or maybe you might be watching a movie. You're going to be so immersed when you're watching media content on this device. And when you're listening to music, Spotify or whatever music thing you use, you're going to love the sound quality of these speakers. I mean, they're just beast mode status. The only one I'll say comes close to this far as loudness, I'm going to have to say the LG V60. Those are beastly speakers in that phone as well. And I think, what was the other phone that were on this level? I would say probably come close is the Z Fold 2. Those speakers are pretty good, but the depth and the full stereo sound is still better in this device. So the LG V60 and the Fold 2. But everything else is, other ones that I have are good, but just not to this level. So you're going to absolutely love these speakers, I'm telling you. I wish they would have put these in the Mi 11 Ultra, honestly. All right, next, let's talk about the 3.5 millimeter headphone jack, as you can see up there at the top. Now, I prefer it to be at the bottom, but at least it's on here. Okay, it's on here. So for those of you that prefer a headphone jack on your device, you're going to get one on this device. Now, I prefer headphone jacks as well. As we know, they'll put headphone jacks on budget and mid-range, but they'll take them off the premium devices, which I absolutely hate. I hate that, and I think it's stupid. And I wish these manufacturers will stop doing that. I really hate that. Put the headphone jack back on the premium devices. Okay, everybody is not the biggest fan of Bluetooth. And if you're not going to give us a headphone jack, then put some headphones that are USB Type-C or a dongle in the box, please. All right, next. This phone comes with an IR blaster. Now, what is that? That's a universal remote control. Let me show you what that is right here. You add your remote. You open this up. Now, these are all the things that you can use the IR blaster for. It's not just for your TV. But as you can see, of course, it's for the TV, your set-top box, your cable box, AC, fan, smart box, AVC receiver, DVD player, projector, camera, light bulb, air purifier, and water heater. So you could use it for multiple things, not just your TV, but a budget phone with an IR blaster. And you got premium devices out there that are $2,000 don't even have an IR blaster. So that should tell you something. That should tell you something. Think about that. Next, let's talk about the display. Now you got a 6.67-inch Super AMOLED display with HDR10 plus 1200 nits peak brightness. This device gets nice and bright, and you're getting 120 hertz refresh rate. So let me tell you something right now. This display is amazing. It's beautiful, and I absolutely love it. Look at these colors. Like, look how bright it is, how vibrant and vivid it is. It's absolutely stunning. Love this display. The speakers and the display are my two favorite things on this device. Okay, it's just unbelievable. I just love this display. All right, next, let's talk about expandable storage. Now, let me set the record straight with this. Now, when I did my first impressions, I said that it didn't have expandable storage, and that was one of the things I didn't like. But I was corrected. Some people came in the comments and said it does have it. Now, my problem was this. Now, I wasn't, that's why I didn't respond to those comments about it, because I know from me just messing with the, with the phone, I couldn't find it. So this is what happened, y'all. When I went to buy this, of course, when I buy something, I do my research. I don't depend on other people, telling me anything. I go on these websites and I look up the specs for myself, because I want to know what I'm getting for my money. So I went on the website, I looked on all the specs, and nowhere to be found was expandable storage. It just wasn't on there. And I looked over it at least 2 or 3 times. It wasn't on there. So not only do I do that, I go on other websites. I Google the device that I'm going to be reviewing. I look up all the specs, and I looked through all of them, and I did not see expandable storage on any of them. So to me, it didn't have it. I'm like, okay, it don't have it. You know, that's something I don't like. But then people kept saying in the comments, you do have it. So I took the SIM thing out. I knew it was dual SIMs. I didn't know that. Took the SIM out, looked at it, and just looking at the configuration of the SIM, it looked like it was just a SIM could fit in there, not an SD card. So people kept telling me, no, it does have it. And I didn't want to get into an argument, go back and forth. So I said, well, let me take the thing out again. And I tried to put the SIM card in there. I'm like, where can you fit a SIM card? I just don't see it. So I tried it again because I said they keep telling me that, so it must have it. So I tried it again with the SD card, tried to put it in there, you know, and then it fit right in. I'm like, oh man, I did not realize, because just looking at the SIM slot, the way it's configured, it did not look like you could fit an SD card in there. So I was wrong. I stand corrected. It does have expandable storage. Now, because I went on different websites and it kept telling me it doesn't, I don't know to what storage capacity that you can use it. I don't know if it's 256. I don't know if it's 500. I don't know. So, but I do have a 256 gig card in here. So, but if it can take a 512 gig card, I don't know. I haven't tried one. I don't have a 512 gig card to try in it. So, but it does have expandable storage. So that's a big deal for a lot of you out there. You're getting a headphone jack, you're getting great speakers, a great display, and you're getting expandable storage. So you're just winning with this device so far, just complete winning. Next, performance. Performance with this device has been absolutely great, fast and smooth, as you can see. Just in and out of every app. I mean, it's just, this phone is just, I love it. I'm telling you, it's so smooth. The transition, the 120 hertz, you could feel it, you could see it. I mean, it's beautiful. It's beautiful. I love it. I love it. I mean, this is a less than $300 device, and it's absolutely great when it comes to performance. No issues whatsoever. Super fast, super smooth. It performs like a flagship device, in my opinion. Next, let's talk about the 24-bit hi-fi audio tuned by JBL. Now, that's with, of course, you got your headphone jack, you plug in your headphones, and I'm telling you, the sound that you get through the headphone jack with some decent headphones, and I'm not talking about expensive headphones. I got some $15 headphones, Panasonics, that I plugged in here, and they sound absolutely awesome. So you're going to love the audio sound through the headphone jack on this device. They sound great. And also you could go in the settings and you can tweak the sound however you want. You just so many options when it comes to the sound with this device. Next, let's talk about the battery. Now, when it comes to the battery, you're getting a 5,160 milliamp battery that features 67 watt super fast charging. Average battery life that I'm getting, now battery life is always going to be subjective and it depends on how you use your phone. I'm using this with 100% brightness. I'm using 120 hertz. You know, I'm getting all my push notifications. I'm getting everything. I'm using this thing at max because that's just the way I use my phone now. Most people are not using their display at 100% brightness. They're just not doing that. Now, I like my display bright, so that's just the way I rock my phone. I'm on YouTube all day, every day. I'm on Spotify all day. I'm on Amazon. I'm on eBay. I'm on Facebook. I'm on Instagram. I use my phone real heavy. I'm listening, looking at movies off and on all day. So I use my phone really, really heavy. I'm getting 3 days, 3 full days before I have to charge this device. That's what I'm getting. Will you get that? I don't know. You may get 2 days. You may get 4 days. I don't know. It depends on how you use your device. But I'm getting 3 days. So the battery life on here is phenomenal. With the 67 watt super fast charger, you can go from 0 to 88% in 30 minutes and from 0 to 100% in 45 minutes. Keep in mind, again, it comes in the box. I mean, think about that. A $279 device with a 67 watt super fast charging brick in the box, and you got $1,800 phones and they won't even give you a charger. Y'all think about that. I mean, for y'all that go out there and buy those phones anyway and act like it doesn't matter, It does matter. How are you going to charge somebody $2,000 for a device and won't even give them a charger? You won't even give them a case. You won't give them no headphones. $2,000 for a device that's going to lose value pretty quickly anyway. And they ripping you off by not even giving you a friggin' charger? Are you kidding me? No. Enough of that. Stop letting these people rip you off. Just stop it. You don't have to. You can get great phones for great prices and get more value and spend way less. This is one of them phones you may want to consider. Next, let's talk about customization. Now, I'm not going to go over all the features and all the customization because it would take way too long. But this phone is highly customizable with the MIUI. It is loaded with customization, so you could pretty much tweak and change pretty much everything when it comes to this device. So you'll have a lot of, if you're the type of person that like to jump into settings and you like to check out all the things that the device can do, you're gonna get that on this device. It's loaded with customizations and features in the phone. You're gonna absolutely love it. You're gonna have a great time. And lastly, let's talk about the cameras. Now, of course, you got those 4 cameras on the back. Now, let me open up the camera app to show you all the different things you get. And of course, you start out by you getting a pro mode in here. Okay, so you can change the white balance, the ISO, shutter speed, autofocus. You know, you can change all of that stuff. You got video, photo, you got portrait mode. And then when you go into more, you got night mode. You keep in mind, you got that 108 megapixel camera in here. You got short video, panorama. You got documents, vlog, slow motion, time lapse, AI, watermark, long exposure. And of course, you could just edit how you want to, put these in order. But that's all you're getting. Keep in mind, this is still a $279 phone. And I like the photos that this gives you. Now, not the greatest video. The video could be just a little unstable, a little choppy, but it's not terrible. But keep in mind of the price. So you can't expect flagship, cameras on this device. It's a budget phone. But to me, the photos and the video on here are pretty decent. But that's my opinion. I'll let you decide for yourself. Check out these photos and videos and just leave me a comment. And y'all tell me what you think about the photo and video quality of this device. All right, so now let's move to all the things that I don't like, which is not a lot. I don't really have a lot of issues with this phone. And keep in mind, it is a budget device, so certain things I guess you should not expect on this device. But the first thing is, and this is the biggest problem I have with this device, and let me just show it to you real quick. Let me turn this off. Oh, look out, this thing is so fast, crazy. See that right there? Now you're automatically saying, well, what do you mean? What's the problem? You'll find out in just a couple seconds. Just keep watching. See? It's supposed to be an always on display. It does not have an always on display. This thing only stays on for 10 seconds. Now, when you go into the settings, you'll see where it says always on display. No. How could it be an always on display if it doesn't stay on all the time? There is no option to keep this thing on all the time. It just says recommend 10 seconds and you can't change it. I absolutely hate that. And I hope that Xiaomi is watching this and you give us some type of software update where we can change that, where we can keep it on. Because there's no reason for it only to be on for 10 seconds. It is a Super AMOLED display. So there's not going to be a burning, a screen burning issue. Why do you have us locked in at 10 seconds only? That's ridiculous. I don't like that at all. I don't like that at all. So no always on display on this device, but they're advertising when you go into settings that it does have it, but it does not have it. Next thing, the cameras. Now with the cameras, like I said, the cameras to me are good, but there's no 4K at 60 on the rear. Now that might not be a big deal to most people because to me, I think 1080p at 60 will be more than enough. I think, and keep in mind, 4K is going to take up way more storage and it might make your phone heat up even more. Okay, 4K is going to be a bigger file. So you may want to just stick with 1080 at 30 or 1080p at 60. I mostly always use 1080p at 60. I really never ever use 4K. I just don't. All right, so just keep that in mind. And when it comes to the front camera, there's no wide angle lens. So, there's no getting a whole bunch of people in a selfie if you're trying to do that. There's no wide angle lens on the front selfie. And there's no 4K on the front camera at all. Just no 4K. And there's no 1080p at 60, only 1080p at 30. We'll keep that in mind when it comes to the camera. Now, if you're not heavily into the camera, then that's not going to matter to you. Next, no wireless charging. Now, I have a problem with that only because I always use wireless charging stands. So that's a big deal to me. Not a make it or break it, like if it don't have it, I'm not going to keep it. No, nothing like that. But I prefer devices that have wireless charging. And also, this device could have had it. Keep in mind, the Blue G91 Pro does have wireless charging. It's slow, but it still has it. And also, the Blue G90 Pro, the year before that, had wireless charging. And both of those devices are $200. So if a company could put wireless charging in a $200 device, then Xiaomi can put wireless charging in a $300 device. There's no excuse for that. Next, no headphones in the box. I don't like that because, once again, the G91 Pro, headphones in the box. Now, I really hate that these manufacturers are so cheap where they can't put a pair of headphones in the box. I don't like that, and I'm going to keep calling them out about it. Next thing, when using Nova Launcher. Now, I prefer to use Nova Launcher because I'm not the biggest fan of MIUI, honestly. I mean, I like it, but I don't love it because it's just not organized very well. Not that that's going to change with me using Nova, but there's just so many more options with Nova Launcher. Like, I don't like, let me give you an example. I don't like having my icons this spread apart like this and big like that. Now, let me show you when I use Nova Launcher how it looks. It looks very, very different. You go down here into apps, go into manage apps, up here, default apps, and change it to Nova Launcher. Now it's going to look very different. And you notice, now look, it's more minimalized. Now I can see more of the wallpaper. All my apps are down at the bottom and they're closer together and they're smaller. They're not big and giant and take up basically all the screen like when I'm using to meet the MIUI launcher. So I prefer to use Nova Launcher pretty much on all my devices except maybe Samsung. I usually use the Samsung UI on their devices. Okay, so I don't, and Oh, let me give you the reason why I talked about the Nova Launcher. Now, also when I'm using Nova Launcher, for some reason the fingerprint sensor don't work as well. Like it's not as accurate. I don't know why that is, but it's just not. And also, if you could look at the bottom, see the buttons, you can't use full screen gestures when you use Nova Launcher. They won't let you use the full screen gestures, you know, sliding as opposed to as opposed to just you know, being able to, no full screen gestures when you're using Nova Launcher. I don't like that. I don't know why they, have it like that. This is the first time I ever ran across anything like this, but I don't like that. That's something they need to change. Next thing, no super wallpapers. Now, what I mean by that, let me show you with my Mi 11 Ultra. All right. So this is the always on display. You turn it. Let me see. So, see how it's moving? And then you press it again, it moves again. And then when you look at it, it moves again. And you see this? This is super wallpapers. Let me get rid of this so you can see it even better. See how that moves a little bit? And when you go back, see? Boom. Boom. See, this doesn't have that. I like that on here. That's cool. Now, that's not the biggest deal in the world, but I just like it. All right. And the last thing I don't like, you can't double tap to sleep the screen unless you're using their themes by default. Like, what? It makes no sense. Like, if that's a feature, you should be able to use that regardless whether I use the theme by default or not. Like, that doesn't make any sense. So Xiaomi, please change that. Don't say we can't double tap to sleep the screen unless we use the themes. Like, that makes no sense. That's just stupid. So those are all the things that I don't like about this device. But I'll say this, and I'll say it again. If you got T-Mobile or Mint Mobile, I believe you can use either one of them, with data and everything on this phone. Get this device. I highly recommend this device. This device is a great device. It really is. I highly recommend it. You're getting great build quality, great battery life, headphone jack, expandable memory, great speakers, really nice photos and videos, great display. I'm telling you, this phone is definitely worth picking up, and the price is perfect. $279. Come on. I haven't reviewed a better budget phone than this. I just haven't, honestly. The only thing that holds this back is that it's not unlocked for all carriers in this country. Now, if you're outside of this country, you're probably going to be able to use this no problem. And I'm telling you, if you do live outside this country, get this device. If you're looking for a budget phone, get this device. This is a super beast. Okay, not a super beast because my Mi 11 is a super beast, but this is a beast, okay? Definitely a beast. All right, y'all. Thank you for taking the time to view this content. I do appreciate it. I hope everybody out there is staying safe and staying well. And I will be announcing the winner of that smartphone today, the Poco X3 NFC. I'll be announcing that winner later on today. So stay tuned for that. All right. Hope you guys are staying safe and staying well, and I'll check you guys out in the next one. Peace.